guys, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to tell you a very cool, spooky story. So this story starts with an archaeologist who is from a foreign country who comes to India because he comes to know about this one random village in India that many people do not know about, but someone told him that maybe this village houses some great secrets. So he arrives into this village, he meets the villagers. They all seem to be nice people. And he starts his mission, his excavation mission. He starts excavating at different places in the village. But he's not able to find anything apart from some random skeletons and things like that, but nothing significant, nothing substantial that would make him stand out as an archaeologist. And he would mingle with the villagers. The villagers seem to respect him a lot, they like him and this and that, but he was starting to get frustrated and desperate to find something. Then one of the oldest men in village told him about a place that was beyond a river that would support the farming of the village. And he told him that you may cross the village and go to the other side, and maybe you will find something interesting there. Archaeologists thought to consider that. Then a few days later there was this festival called Sankranti, which would go on throughout the night, and they would all celebrate. And in the morning everyone was tired and asleep, so that's when the archaeologist thought that maybe I should check out this other side of the village. Even though when he asked the villagers beforehand about that side, people say that nobody prefers to go there, and some even said that the other side is cursed. Of course, the archaeologist doesn't believe in any of this, so he takes a waterproof backpack. Early in the morning, he goes near the river and he dives into the river and starts swimming. When he looked at the river, it did not look too wide, so he thought that soon enough I will be on the other side of the river. But the moment he started swimming into the river, he realized that he was not reaching the other side. No matter how fast he was trying to swim, no matter how much of the area he was trying to cover, the other side always seemed to be getting farther and farther away from him. Then he decided to take a dive, and when he took a dive inside the river, he realized that the depths of this small river was never ending. He could not see the riverbed. But instead of a riverbed, he could see in somewhere beyond the depths something was shining in the golden color, like the color of the sunlight. He wanted to explore that, but he knew that he could not, because his lungs would not support him, his body would not support him. So he said that unfortunately I cannot just explore that. Anyway, there was a rope that was floating, that was attached to the other side of the river. So he decided to hold on to that rope and just pull it closer and closer, and he reached the other side and emerged victorious. When he reached the other side, someone from back there was shouting his name. It was a village boy named Nandu, who told him, "Excuse me, sir, why are you going there? You're not supposed to go there. That place is accursed. Come back, come back, come back." And the archaeologist just told him like, "Shh, no, don't tell anyone." And then Nandu just ran away. Anyway, this archaeologist made his way into this other side of the village, and what he found was actually a lush forest. Except in this forest, the size of the trees was extremely small, like this big. These were not plants or shrubs or anything like that. These were fully grown trees, except they were smaller in size. It was very curious and very confusing. But anyway, he kept moving on and on and on and on, and he found a cave. And just like the tree, the cave was also small, and it had a tiny entrance. It was as if the entire place was built for very tiny people. Regardless, the archaeologist was determined, so he took a hammer and a pickaxe, and he started chipping away at the exterior of the cave. And soon enough, he managed to take the exterior of the cave away, and could now see what was inside the cave. And what he saw absolutely shocked him. There were piles of skeleton inside the cave. But yet again, upon closer examination, he realized that these skeletons, the pieces of the skeletons, were also tiny. Rib cage, backbone, femur, all that thing, small. They did not belong to a small animal like a rat or something. Also, they were not the skeletons of a dwarf. They were skeletons of a fully grown human being, except it was small. And he kept searching and searching and searching that maybe he could find a totally intact, pristine skeleton, which he eventually found inside a coffin, a tiny coffin, which again he had to, pry it open using a tool and a hammer and a pickaxe. He pried it open, and inside was a completely pristine, tiny skeleton resting inside it. He carefully took that skeleton out, put it inside an airtight box, put the box inside his waterproof bag. And while he was doing all of that, he heard someone screaming his name. It was Nandu, who had somehow managed to cross the river. And he said, "You have committed blasphemy. Why would you do that? I told you to not do that. How come you did that? Nobody was meant to do that. Why did you do that? This and that." And then Archaeologist told that the oldest man in the village actually gave me the tip about this place. To which another replied that, by the way, that oldest man in the village was my grandfather. And when he told me to go away, which I did, I went back to my home and I found my grandfather dead, which is clearly the case of this blasphemy that you have committed. And now I will not let you take the skeleton away anywhere. And he started pulling at the bag and started pushing away the archaeologist. The archaeologist got upset and punched him in the head. That knocked Nando unconscious. The archaeologist said, "To hell with it." And he started making his way back to the river. He thought, look, I'm gonna cross the river, I'm gonna quickly take my belongings, I'm gonna get out of this village. But the moment he reached the river, it immediately, out of nowhere, started raining heavily. There was a massive rain downpour and storm and thunder. And because of this massive downpour of rain, the river, the small river that was in the middle, it started rising up in water level, and slowly, because of the inclination of the earth, the water was spilling into the village. It was creating flood-like situations. The archaeologist realized that I cannot go that way and I'm stuck. What am I gonna do now? Luckily for him, he had the map of the region. He quickly took out the map. It was drenched in the rain, and he managed to pinpoint the location of a nearby railway platform, and that there was a shortcut to that platform from his side of the land. So he dropped in, and that map was so drenched that it was torn. So he threw the map, he took his backpack with the skeleton, and he made his run towards the direction of the railway platform. But he did not realize how far away it was, and he kept walking and running and walking and running and walking and running for hours before he reached. And now it was late evening. He started in the morning, and now it was late evening. He finally reached the railway platform. There were no station master's office. There was no store. Nothing in that platform. It was just a tiny platform. And now the archaeologist was feeling such a fatigue that he lay down on the platform. And he did not realize for how long he fell asleep, because the next time when he woke up, he opened his eyes and he saw a completely dark sky, and there was no moon in presence. It was perhaps a new moon day, and he could hear the sirens of a train coming from far away. And the train stopped at his platform, realized that he has no escape, and he hopped into the train and sat in the nearby bogie seat. And the train started running. The rain was still pouring, so he closed the glass of the window, and the train started moving, and he said, "Thank God, I escaped." Except he didn't, because then came a woman whose skin was navy blue color, or should I say dark blue, like the ink of a pen. Her hair were golden yellow, and she wore a completely white sari. She was a very peculiar sight to behold, and she sat in front of the archaeologist and started glaring him aggressively. Archaeologist tried to hide his gaze away from him, at which point she asked, "Why did you do it?" Archaeologist said, "Look, I have no idea what you mean." She said, "Oh, no, you know exactly what I mean. Why did you do it?" "Do what?" Archaeologist said. She said, "Do you think you take me for a fool? When you split open that cave, all the skeletons that were resting inside that cave, their souls came screaming to me, and now I am here to judge you. So I will ask you again, why did you do it?" Archaeologist said, "I do it for my profession. This is perhaps one of the greatest discoveries I've made, and this is going to change the way we look at human beings." And she said, "Oh, is that so? Do you even have any idea who these people were?" Archaeologist said, "I do not." She said, "Well, then let me tell you. Many millions of years ago, these small people were the native of this land. They had their village, their cities in here, and they would just live their life without, harassing anyone or disturbing anyone else. They were sustained by themselves until us normal-sized human beings came to their land, and we invaded them. We took their lands and we killed a lot of them. I myself was part of these normal-sized humans who invaded," she said. "But I grew compassion for them, so I created that cave as a shelter in which they lived till their last breath. And now you disturb the sanctity of their place. That's a sin, and you will pay for it." While this was happening, archaeologists realized that the rain had made the water level to rise to such a high level that the train was actually running underwater. He tilted his head and looked a bit further, and on the farther side he could see that glowing yellow light that he saw when he took that dive in that small river. "What is that?" the archaeologist asked. "That is your destination," she said. "Your final destination, from where you will never escape." And now, Archaeologist was terrified. She said, "I can let you go, except that you have to give me that skeleton back." But for whatever reason, the archaeologist was still very adamant to keeping that skeleton. He said, "No, I must keep it with me. This is important. This is a great discovery. We could conduct some useful experiments." And she said, "Experiments? You want to torment these skeletons more for your own pleasure? Now you must die." And I swear, the train was just moments away from crashing into that light when the archaeologist shrieked, "No, no, 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 I'm not doing it for my pleasure. I'm doing it for the benefit of the humanity. I can show this to the world, and I can tell them the story about these small people and what happened to them, and that could serve as a reminder of why we need to show compassion for those who may look and seem different than us." He said that, and the woman just stared at him, gave him a nod, and then just clicked her finger, and the archaeologist was knocked unconscious. He woke up many days later inside that same bogie of the train, except there was no rain, the train was not underwater, and the train had derailed and crashed. He was the sole survivor of that train. He thanked God for surviving that, and he presented the history, the story, and the lore of the small people that I'm telling you about right now. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that story. I will see you later.